You should
So
mute it. Also.
we're discussing Kol Nidre and its source in history, where it began apparently with the Marranos, according to the based upon the stories that I heard, that they would show up, and that's why throughout history we have unassimilated Jews showing up, because they would make Nedarim to become Christians. So they said that neder is not a neder, and it worked. So Simcha said that initially it was they were able to do it, but as the Inquisition became more and more intense and more difficult, so it's reflected in the intensity of the Kol Nidre. That's why we go higher and higher and higher. That's why it goes from slow, and each time it goes higher and higher, it's reflecting the intensity of the time.
Persecution.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. That would explain, what are the minhagim that we do. But it's fascinating. The Aruch HaShulchan I think it was Tafresh Yutes. The Aruch HaShulchan, he said that therefore Kol Nidre doesn't work. It's really interesting, because why did we conclude yesterday? We paskin that Rava, that if you don't remember it, then the Tanai kicks in. But if you do remember it, then the neder you're making is, I know I have a Tanai, I'm still making the neder, so obviously my neder is overriding the Tanai, and the neder is chal. We all know, says the Aruch HaShulchan, this is Chiddush, we all know that we say Kol Nidre, so therefore it doesn't work, because when we make the neder, we're making the neder despite the fact that we know we have the Tanai. It's like counterintuitive. It's fascinating. I just read that the whole thing is just to find the source and everything it was fascinating. Okay, today's Gemara is going to focus on the first part of the Mishnah. We explained the last part of the Mishnah. This is going backwards. We explained the first part of the Mishnah. So we began this parak with Nidrei Zruzim. Why was Nidrei Zruzim? You want to motivate a guy. So you're in business. You go ahead and say a seller, which is 4 denarim. The other fellow is the buyer says, there's no way I'm spending more than a shekel, which is 2 denarim. You both mean 3. You never meant what? 4. You never meant 2. And therefore, you don't have to go ahead and need haTorah whatsoever. It's not a neder whatsoever. That's what we said. That's what the Mishnah said. Now the Mishnah said on Daf Chav Gimel, Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov Omer, Af haroitze lahader es chaveiro sheyochel etzlo. So you say that kainim that my things asa if you don't come me to eat. So the answer is there, according to Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov, that's nidrei zruzim. That also would be, it's not a neder, it doesn't require afara. Question: do the Chachamim disagree with Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov? Is there a bar plukta? Is the Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov a continuation of the first Mishnah and no one argues, right? Like the Gestam Mishnah, no one argues, or is there a tzad to say that someone argues? Let's see the Gemara and see the Ran on that accompanying Gemara. So we're going to begin from Daf Chaf Gimel Amid Beis, 2 lines from the bottom. Iboyeluhu pligi Rabban Oled Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov Oiloi. V'imtim Tzolei pligi Hilchas Hakavasei Oiloi. So what's the shaila? Let's look at the Ran, 3 lines from the bottom. Says the Ran, Iboyeluhu pligi Rabban Oled Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov Oiloi pligi. The ikal is suke b'hachi. We can be mesupik where a person's going ahead and urging this fellow to come eat with him and makes a neder, whether he wants to mizaris him or he really means the neder. Mishum de Dilma, ad kan like Rabbanon the nidrei zruzim have that we began the first parak, that there's 4 types of nidorim zruzim, anusim, shoygim, and havoi, that what the nidrei that you don't have to take off. When do we say that? Ela b'moichev v'lekeach, where it's a business transaction, right? She'ein piyam v'li b'shavim. Because a neder, in order for a neder to be, you need your mouth and your mind to be in one signal, in one kivun, and it's not. Because again, he says 4, he says 3, but 2, but they really mean 3. That's when we say nidrei zruzim. The af mitchila hayuroitzim b'shleisha dinarim. Even initially, when they opened their mouth, they wanted right. They wanted. It's not that they changed their mind. What they said is not what they meant. The piv that said 4 meant 3, and the piv that said 2 shekel meant 3. So therefore, it's not a neder. For a neder to work, it's got to be piv v'libai shavim. But when a person goes ahead and it draws his friend to come eat by him, As far as to say Dafka wants to make the neder, that's the tzad that the Chachamim should argue. That's the tzad that it's not Nidrei Zuzim. So on the surface, you might think contextually it's Nidrei Zuzim, but the fact is, it's possible that Pir V'Liva Shavim, he really wants him to come at Kedei Kach that he would asa hana, and maybe it is. In fact, fellas, L'maskana, the Chachamim will argue. L'maskana, this Mishnah is only Rebbe Eliezer ben Yaakov. The Chachamim would disagree. They would say that you only say Nidrei Zuzim with Pir V'Liva Shavim. The lashon of the Lamda Shel lashon, guys, is it's an umdana shemachiach. It's an umdana that is that kind of we know. In other words, when you say 4 and you say 2, we know that you're handling. In other words, the umdana, the situation is mochiach reflects that they don't mean 4 and 2. That's business. Mashen Kain, a personal bakasha is not an umdana mochiach so much. Maybe the guy says, "You come to me." If not, no. Maybe it's not an umdana mochiach. That maybe it means it's not business. In other words, that's the lumdis behind the chilik between a business deal and being mezarish your friend to eat from you. Is there an umdana mochiach that is piv and live and not shoving like my business or not? Maybe it is. That will be the lumdis behind this. Okay, and that's the shaila. So the Gemara is going to go try to be paishet, and we're going to be successful at the beginning of the Amid Beis. So we have a series of 4 cases. Each one is a little more dakistic than the other. It's not a hard Gemara. It's just like, like the Lashon of the Nedarim, sometimes it's hard. You have to be exactly what they mean. So let's go through the Gemara, and it's a very quick daf today, and we're all going to have a great Shabbos. We're going to have a big Kiddush coming up. Right? You have any roles by the Kiddush?
Yes, I will. Yeah.
Okay, good. Now, Toshma.
In Meisner.
It just got better. Tanan, I just upgraded you on the wine. Tanan, someone says to his friend, it's kainim. Now, guys, just to remind you, the Ran made a chilik between she'eni and sha'ani. She'eni is a shvua. Sha'ani is a neder. So, like the Ran, you have to change the gersa to shani. Take a look at the top line of the Ran just for a second. What does he say? Kainim sha'ani. You see that? The Ran changed it. It's a neder. Ani means it's going on the chefza, but not the gavra. Ani is I won't. Anyway, kainim, he says kainim sha'ani nenelecha im i'ata noita limit bincha kur shel chitim b'shel chavias. He says, I make a kainim, I won't have enough from you. I won't have enough from you if you don't take for my son a kur of chitim or 2 barrels of yayin. How we say he's able to go ahead and matter shlei pichacham. In other words, it's not the neder, he can be matter it. Because his friend could say to him, the only reason I said it is what? It's for my covet. And zehu kvaidi, by not taking it, that's my covet. By not taking it, it's my covet not to take. The reason why it's not a good neder, because you can say it's my covet not to take. Halav hachi nederhu. It would be a good neder, and we wouldn't say it's Nidrei Zuzim. Now, money. If it's Nidrei ben Yaakov, this doesn't seem to be different than our Mishnah, where you're being Messiah of a person to eat. If that's the case, then obviously it must be according to Chachamim. And like the Chachamim, and Ela Shmamina, Pligi Rabbana led Alaha, Pirish. The whole reason that the neder is not a good neder is because you could say the whole reason I'm doing it is the faydi for myself. That's why I'm not taking. Without that, it would be a good neder. It's Nidrei Zuzim. So what's the answer? The Chachamim disagree with Rebbe Eliezer and Yaakov. When the Chachamim say Nidrei Zuzim, that's only by Mekach Memka, where it's a umdin machiach. Then they say that Nidrei Zuzim. Mashen came when it comes to go ahead and adjure a person to go ahead and eat with you, they would disagree and say it's not Nidrei Zuzim. And over here, it's not a neder because the guy has a time that can say it's not my covet. Loilam, no. Loilam Rebbe Eliezer ben Yaakov. In other words, I could tell you, Rebbe Eliezer ben Yaakov would agree that this is not Nidrei Zuzim. In other words, once it's Rebbe Eliezer ben Yaakov, you have no raya to the Chachamim. How is this different than our Mishnah? Our Mishnah, we said it is Nidrei Zuzim when you go ahead and try to get the guy to eat, and this is not Nidrei Zuzim. Why is this different? Umoy the Rebbe Eliezer ben Yaakov, Bahai, the Nidra Habe. He's Maida, and Yaakov is Maida over here, that in fact, what? It's the good neder. The Amalek, because he says to him, Loi kalba ana, I'm not a dog, dimis hanani minoch, that I can have enough from you. V'loi mishanas minoi, and you can't have enough from me. I'm not such an ingrate that you take my gift and have enough. So koinim, I won't have enough from you. If I don't take your gift, like koinim, I won't have enough from you. I'm not such an ingrate. So it's not Nizrei Sruzim. It would be a good neder if not for the Sfar of Kvaidi. So it's like Rebbe Eliezer and Yaakov. Since it's like Rebbe Eliezer and Yaakov, you don't have a riot to a shaila whether the Chachamim disagree or not, because the Rabbanan, this is not the Rabbanan, this is Rebbe Eliezer and Yaakov, and it's not Nizrei Sruzim. Toshma, a second attempt. This is the opposite. Over there, he said, I don't have enough from you. Here he's saying, koinim that you won't have enough from me. In the first case, he's saying koinim that I won't have enough from you. This case, he says koinim that you won't be able to have enough from me. If you do not go ahead and fulfill my condition by giving my son a kor of chitim or 2 barrels of wine. So therefore, you won't be able to have enough for me. The first case was I won't be able to have enough. No, you won't be able to have enough for me. Now, Rameya says it's a full-fledged neder, and therefore what? Until you give. And if you don't give it, then he will not be able to have enough from you. You won't be able to have enough from him. You won't be able to have enough from him. You could take it off. He could say, listen, it's as if, he could say to his friend, it's as if I received this gift that I meant from you. In other words, if my son does not receive this, then you can't have enough from me. I can view it as if my son received it. That's the svara. I can view it as if my son received it, because it's contingent upon me. Haima, the reason why it's not a neder that requires hatara, damar, hareini, kilu, iskabalti, because he can say it's if I received the goods. Halav hachi, without that svara that I received the goods, neder have, it's a good neder who would be a neder. Now, who is this? Money. In other words, I see it the same as our Mishnah, that even though it's not a din of mekach u'memker, it's just a din of a personal ratzon, it should be nisrusim, and not elolav rabbanan upligi. So you have a raya l'chayra that the rabbanan argue, and they say that when you go ahead and make a person come to eat, it's not nisrusim. And over here, the reason why it's not a good neder is because simply you can say it's as if I received it. Says like loylam Rebbe Eliezer ben Yaakov. Loylam is Rebbe Eliezer ben Yaakov, and therefore you have no raya to the chachamim. Umoid Rebbe Eliezer b'hayd nidra have. He's moid that this is a good neder. If that's the reason of kilis kabalti, you should amal like lav malka ana. I'm not a king. I'm not a king that I should give you hana, and you shouldn't have enough from me. In other words, the kelev was I should have enough from you. I should take for you and not give to you. Over here is that what? I should have enough from you. I should give you enough, and you should give me back enough. So therefore, there's a svara. Okay? Nachamo, no raya. Amalei Markashisha, Bereid Rav Chisda Rav Ashi. Rav Chisda had 2 sons, Markashisha and Mar Yenuka. Markashisha, Mar Yenuka, he had 2 sons. Machloikis was Markashisha, the older one. Kashisha means older, or was Mar Yenuka. Right? Loitamandi Amar Kashisha, it's Pashit. He was called Mar Kashisha. Loitamandi Amar, that what? It's Tosus. Tosus says Rav Chisda had Mar Kashisha when Rav Chisda was older, and he had Mar Yenuka when he was younger. So it comes out it's the opposite. Mar Kashisha was the younger brother, and it was named that. That's the Machlekes Rashi and Tosus. Rashi says literally, Mar Kashisha, he was the older one. Tosus says no, Mar Kashisha was the younger one, and what does it mean older? He was fathered by Rav Chisda when he was older. So we saw in the Mishnah there's 4 types of Nedarim, right? We said there's Nidrei Zruzim, Nidrei Havoi, Nidrei Shkagos, and Nidrei Anusim. And this is the Mishnah Nidrei Einsim. That's Nidrei Einsim. It's Heidiru Chaveiroi Sheyoichel Etzloi, and he says, come eat by me, and if you don't, you can't have enough. Eat by me, and if you don't, you can't have enough. Now, the person's coming to eat, but however, v'chalahu, either the host Reuven got sick, or chala b'noi, or his son got sick, or he got stuck by a river, then that's nidrei einsin. In other words, is an oinus. Halav hachi nedahu. If not, If not for the fact that anoinus happened, it would be a good neder. Now, again, this is not a neder in business. This is a neder in what? In food. And we said all along, Rabbi Lesman Yaakov, based upon our Mishnah's mashma, every neder in food seems to be nidrei zruzim. If not for the fact that we can say hilis kabalti, or I'm not a dog, or I'm not a melech. We have reasons to go ahead and say the neder is a good neder. What are you going to say over here? Rabbi Lesman Yaakov, zeruzin have. It's a neder of ziruz. Ella must be la rabbanon, and nonetheless a pligi. If not for the fact that what anoinus happened. So the we have a right. Says the Olam Rabbi Lesman Yaakov. Do you think it's Ruvain, the host, that made the neder? No. Lismane, that the host made the neder to the guest? Lismane adre lemizamna. Listen to this guy. My nechasim are us on you unless you invite me to eat. Talk about a guy. You gotta say, my nechasim are us on you unless you invite me to eat. It's telling you, invite me to eat. So the Amalei, go ahead and invite me to your Suda. So Amalei, guess what? For sure, come on over for Shabbos night. You're welcome. We'll break out the good food. All right. Or maybe let's be more seasonal. Thanksgiving dinner. Invite them for a shtick turkey, a piece of cranberry, episvas, some pumpkin pie. None of these things in Judaism have any taste whatsoever. Zero. No, but I just mentioned, you think about it. Pumpkin pie, forget about it. Cranberry, you only eat it if you have a urinary tract infection. And to me, turkey, the only turkey I ever saw was good was that Swift premium butter ball that was injected with butter. That, it looked like, oh my gosh. But truth be told, it's dry as anything. And if you like turkey, you always have to say, I like turkey. No one has to say they like steak. You like steak. You have to say, I like turkey, because for MS, you're strange. It's strange. Maskim Kenny. Kenny's Maskim. Kenny's All-American Kenny from Rockaway. You're Maskim?
Yes, and I'm very glad we're recording this for posterity.
Yeah, you could play it back. Yes, I guess someone will see this years from now and say, forget all the Torah that he said. This was the best thing he ever said, the most truthful thing he ever said. Okay, so my family, for forever, you should know. Thanksgiving dinner's out. Duck, some good barbecue chicken. Forget turkey. Move the chains. Okay, so
Football.
Oh, yeah, that's the only good thing. Football. Okay, weiter. So now, this guy invited himself over, and he says, sure, of course. And then what happens is, an oinus happens to this guy. So Vadai, this is a neder, guys. Zruzin means, I want you to come to my house. I'll make a neder to Mizaris you. But you're making a neder to Mizaris me to invite you over. That's not Nidrei Zruzim. So Rabbi Eliezer Yaakov is the Tana of this Mishnah. And it's not the Chachamim. And it has no bearing on a Shaila whatsoever. Right? There's no bearing on Shaila whatsoever. You're all good. Okay. So what happens? So it goes, Neder Zalecha. He makes the neder and he says, my nechasim are asa to you. What if you don't come to the Suda? If you don't come to the Suda, my nechasim are asa to you. That's what he says. So then he says, v'nadar v'cholo who when he got sick, Shechala b'nai, your son got sick. He couldn't. Hari elu nidrei einsim. This is a neder of einus. He wants to fulfill the neder, but he can't. But it's not nidrei zruzim, so it has no bearing whatsoever on our shaila. Tashma, the final attempt and success. We're going to prove the Chachamim do disagree, and they say that Nidrei Zruzim is only by a hoichacha like Mekel Chumemkar, where you have an umdeder the mochiach that it's Zruzim, but by food not. Toshma, Yesu al Kainam Revelas Ben Yaakov, Haimel Chaveroi, Kainim Shani Nenelecha, but Kainim that my Mechasim, I can't have enough from you. Im Iata Misarich Etzli, if you're not Misarich to me, V'toichel Imi, Haschama v'tishtimi koschayim. Okay. In other words, if you don't go ahead and come and eat by me, then I'm master on you. The halaw hikbid kenegdai. And this person, he's connected. In other words, he said he's makbid. He's makbid. What does the Mefirish say? Good Mefirish. V'le hikbid kenegdai. Afagav shepirish loy hakol. Even though what he explained everything, if you don't do this and then this. Even though even though this guy, he was makbid. What exactly does it mean makbid over here? He makbid over here. He makes a ned to connect him not to come. Reuven's saying, "Mine, I'm usher on you if you don't come to eat by me." The other guy says, "Mine chasim's usher on you if I come to eat." You know, he's reversing the tables. That's what's happening. Af elu nidrei srusim. It's these, even these are nidrei srusim, and loyhoidu loychachamim, and the chachamim are not moida. They're not moida. Now says the Gemara, "My lav hoidu loychachamim." And this is v'loy hoidu loychachamim. Loyhoidu loychachamim. Lav the afilu b'kamaisa, that even what in our Mishnah, guys, even in our Mishnah, you know, it's Yesser al Kain. Rabbi Eliezer is saying more than our Mishnah. You look at the Ran, they have shot why it's more. So more than our Mishnah, which was Stam, guys, which was Stam in Nezruzim, and this is what they're both going ahead, making the Nedarim against each other. Even here, the Chacham aren't Moida. Now, what does it mean even here? It must be they argue even on the Mishnah, right? I feel Kamaisa Shmamina, Pligi Rabban Allah, that the Chachamim argue in Rebbe Eliezer ben Yaakov, they do not hold of Nidrei Zruzim when it's not a Heichacha that's Meichiach, like by business, that is Nidrei Zruzim. This by food is not, and Shmamina, it's a good raya, they argue. Good. So in other words, we were successful. The first three attempts were not successful because they were according to Rebbe Eliezer ben Yaakov. This clearly the Chachamim do not agree. They disagreed that it's Nidrei Zruzim, so they would have, in our Mishnah, the Rebbe Eliezer ben Yaakov says openly that this Nidrei Zruzim, they would disagree. My Havila, what's the bottom line? What's the psak Tashma? Dam Rav Huna halacha Rebbe Eliezer ben Yaakov, the Chinam Rav Ada bar Abba halacha Rebbe Eliezer ben Yaakov. Just funny. Usually we have a raya. One of the closest shots is Mishnah's Rebbe Eliezer ben Yaakov kav v'naki. Meaning he doesn't appear often, but when he appears, he's naki, he's clean. Meaning the halacha is like him. Why would the Gemara have to fear ice like that? You know, since we always pass like him, why would the Gemara have to fear ice like that? There must be a reason. There must be a reason to say that. Okay. Anyway, so we dealt with the first. The Mishnah began. The Perek began. Arba Nedarim. The first one was what? Zruzim. The second one was Nidrei Havoy. Says the Mishnah, Nidrei Havoy. What is Nidrei Havoy? I would touch it as a guzma. Nidrei Havoy is an exaggeration or an outright lie. Ama koinim im loy reisi b'derech hazeh ka'olim Mitzrayim. This is koinim. It's asur on me if I do not see on the derech the amount of people oilim Mitzrayim. He's standing. He sees a tremendous amount of people, and he says it should be asur upon me, a koinim on some object if it's not that amount of people. Now, there's no way you're going to have 600,000 people, right? There's no way. But he said it. That's the Nidrei Havoy. You don't need a hatar. It's not a good neder. Or im loy reisi nachash ki koiris beis abad. Or if I don't see a nachash the size of the beam of an olive press. Now the Gemara is going to zet sign, guys, that this is speaking about the ridges on a nachash. Nachashim do not have ridges, and that's why it's a guzma. You could have we have snakes, some snakes that are really, really big. I mean, we don't have to go into snakes because we don't know too much about snakes, right? But reticulated pythons, one in Indonesia, one just ate a woman. They're big. They're gesundte snakes. Okay, so now, what's the chiddush of these two cases, and what exactly are we speaking about? Let's see the Ran. The Ran, where it gets wide, 4 lines down. Masisa nidrei havoy, Omar koinim. You say koinim im loy reisi b'derech hazeh ka'olei Mitzrayim. Koinim, this should be asur upon me like a carbon. If I do not see, like on this derech ka'olei Mitzrayim, im loy reisi nachash k'kari beis abad. Nearly says the Ran, the Tana trei gavnei nokat. He dafka learned 2 cases because each case is uniquely different than the other. Chad the shaykh bei guzma. One is shaykh bei an exaggeration. The hainu ka'olei Mitzrayim. The Ovid Inish ki chazi in shetuva when you see a lot of people, Gazim, Omar, Koilim Mitzrayim. In other words, how many people will buy that Levaya? How many people? So they make these exaggerations, right? So Koilim Mitzrayim, that's an exaggeration. Another one, Lo Shayach Be Guzma. It's not even Shayach a Guzma, which is the one, the Hainu Nachash Kikaris Be Sabad. That's the Nachash that is the size of a beam of an olive press. The Kivid Nimar Farshina and Bigamara. Since we're going to explain in the Gemara, the Loy Nachash Gadol Kamar, he didn't mean a large snake. What he meant, Tarif, it meant a ridged snake. Lo Shayach Lemema Derech Guzma. Why? The Tarif Kikaris Be Habad. She'ein Shum Nachash Tarif Klal. So you can't say, guys, it's a guzma because it doesn't exist at all. Bashmina Tana, the chitola isa peris, the chad mehani nidroi. If you're tola koinim to eat peris in one of these two nedarim, one that's a guzma and one that's not outright true, batal. The cholchad v'chad taim elachud. Each one has their own reason. The chiyamar koinim alai peris im loy reisi b'derech hazeh kalim mitzrayim b'dinhu the loy litzri aleha. Why? The kushta kamar. The Ovid inish the Gazim, the Chiyai Gavna. You might think that what? It's a good neder, right? People make, in other words, he doesn't mean to make a neder. He's in other words, since it's normal for a person to exaggerate, this is what he's exaggerating. The Chik Omar im loy reisi nachash kari beis habad, nami aperis mutarim, meitayim achrina. The afagav the vadai she yikra kamar, the afilu b'derech guzma, le'shayach l'meim hachi, afilu hachi aperis mutarim yishum, the amdina lay, we assess the daite shlei lesser as a aperis niskaven. Shem kain lahoylo litlois isur b'tanai. In other words, when a person speaks in ways of exaggerated terms, if he really wanted to answer it, he would have answered it outright. In other words, if I wanted to say this Paris of Kainim, say Kainim. When he said, "Oh, this is a Kainim to me," if I didn't say Galim Mitzrayim, and a Guzma, Mamish a Guzma. It's telling in Guzma, it's not going to be a neder. Or he goes ahead and says like something that's totally not true. If it's not true, he doesn't want it to be a neder. So it's for two different reasons. By the Olam Mitzrayim, it's a Guzma. That's why it doesn't work. And by the snake, it's because it's an outright lie. Because no snake has ridges that, like the olive press, I guess, had ridges carved into the beam. This one did not. Let's see the Gemara. Tana nidre avai mutarim. Let's change the gears, guys. Look at the side. If you have an article Gemara, it might be a letter that goes up to Masaras Hashas. Kishem, got it? Kishem she nidre havai mutarim, kain shuas havai mutarois. Just like nidre havaya muta, so shuas havaya amuta. In other words, you don't need to be shoyal on your shua. So we're changing the gersa. Because same shenidri avai mutarim kach shuas avai mutarim. Hechidami shuas avai. What exactly would be example of shuas avai? Ilay medama shua imlay reisi b'derech hazeh. If you make a shua, if I did not see on this way, if I didn't see, what's he saying? I'm making a shua that I didn't see. What's the shua? Made them come. He said nothing. So Rabbi Adama shua shora isi. He's making a shua that what? That I saw, he makes a shua that I saw like Olam Mitzrayim. I saw like Olam Mitzrayim. So now, guys, if you make a shua that I'm making shua not to eat this kikar because I saw the amount of people of Olam Mitzrayim, it's not a good shua. It's a shua savai. What's the chiddush? It's not a shua shav. There's a shua called a shua shav, which is a lo yanake. It's not, the chiddush is that it's a shua savai. It's a shua, but savai, it's exaggerated shua, but it's not a shua shav. So I make a shua that I will eat. He makes a shua that he won't eat this thing if the amount of people he saw was what, like Olam Mitzrayim. So Amalei Ravim Kain Lamali Lameima. So what's he saying? He makes a shua that what? He makes a shua that what? That he will eat. Shua I won't this thing. I won't eat this thing if I didn't see. Right. So I make a shua that I did see. So what's he saying? By neder was loya chalti, and over here he's saying it's a chalti. The Paris of the world should be usher upon me. He does say that. Okay. In other words, he says the lashon of loy re'isi, and he's saying, but like a double negative. I won't eat this fruit if I did not see like oil mitzrayim, and that's called the shuas havoy. That would not require what any shayla. That would be same as nedra havoy.